السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى أهله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وربنا زدنا علما آمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها ما بعد. So today we will, Sheikh Yusuf Salatin is out of town, so I was asked to cover today as well, and we will continue our reading from Tarikh al-Khulafa by Imam Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, rahimahullah. And for those who were here yesterday, we were covering the chapter on the life of Uthman, radiyallahu anh. And yesterday we had talked about the hadith about Uthman, what the Prophet ﷺ said about Uthman. And what we also learned is that Uthman was accused of extremists and hypocrites in the Muslim Ummah of nepotism, and there were some problems with people that he appointed. Basically, he was a very shy person, very timid person by nature. And he had a hard time saying no to people. So members of his own family, when he became Khalifa, would approach him for being put in powerful government positions. It's like when you become rich, right? And family members come and they show up out of nowhere. You haven't seen them for years, and they start asking for money. So basically, his family were like, "Can I become governor of this place? Can I become whatever authority in this place?" And he was a soft-spoken, gentle, older person. He had a hard time saying no, and so these people that he put in place, some of them from his own family, did some very bad things. And so people among the Muslims who disliked Uthman, disliked the family that he came from, disliked the privilege that he was from, needed an excuse to kill him, because this crime, even if it's accurate, is not something that is worthy of capital punishment. Found a reason to besiege his house, climb into his window and kill him while he was reading the Quran. So his murder, as the Prophet ﷺ had predicted, was zulm. It was a wrongful murder. But the people who, if you look for something to complain about, you can always find something against anybody to complain about, and then it's up to you how you want to play that and spin that and manipulate that. And so this was done against Uthman. What we also learned is that in our deen, there's no, as far as politics is concerned, there is no fixed method of succession. It's not fixed. Rasulullah when he was in his final illness, gave Abu Bakr leadership responsibilities. Like he let Abu Bakr lead the prayer in his absence. No one else was told that they could lead the prayer. He told people that if the iman of all of you is put on one side of a scale, and the iman of Abu Bakr is put on the other side of the scale, the iman of Abu Bakr would outweigh all of your iman. And he's not talking to average people, he's talking to the companions, right? He said that close all the doors except the door, because many Sahaba began building homes that would open into the masjid, copying what the Prophet did. So Rasulullah said, close all of these doors except for the door of Abu Bakr. So keep Abu Bakr's accessibility to the masjid as it was in my lifetime. So Rasulullah gave a lot of implicit hints on Abu Bakr's leadership, but he did not directly appoint Abu Bakr as a successor. So you have that example, right? No explicit selection, but kind of giving the people an idea of who is the most likely candidate after the passing of the Prophet. So you have that example. Then you have the example of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr, when he was dying, directly appointed Umar ibn Khattab. There was nobody was asked, no Sahaba were asked, what do you think? In fact, some people objected to that, but he directly appointed Abu Bakr. So now you have that example as well, direct appointment, but not, it's not like he picked a member of his family. He didn't make it like a monarchy. And then you have the example of Umar. When Umar was dying, he was stabbed by a non-Muslim, and when he was dying, he got together some of the most senior companions. And these were the companions, it seems, that were the Ashratul Mubashirun, the 10 companions that were foretold paradise in the life of the Prophet ﷺ, from those that were still alive. So of course Abu Bakr has passed away, Umar is dying, Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah is no longer there, but the ones that remain, as in Zubair, Ali, Uthman, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, all these, the remaining of them were basically put together, and Omar said that these people we have to choose one from these people, from the most senior. So that's another approach. So you have the Prophet's example, no direct succession. You have Abu Bakr's example, directly pick somebody, and then you have Omar's example, put together a group and let people choose from that group, not just any random person, but from a select group of people that are qualified. So Islam does not have a fixed method of choosing a successor. This is something we have to know as Muslims. Now the chapter that we will, not chapter, actually just 2 pages that we'll read through is on the Khilafah of Uthman, how Uthman's governing was. So As-Suyuti begins and he says, Uthman was pledged allegiance to as Khalifa 3 nights after the burial of Umar. So Rasulullah they picked Abu Bakr three days after the death of the Prophet and so Uthman was pledged allegiance to 3 nights after the burial of Umar ibn al-Khattab. It is related that people got together during those days with Abdurrahman ibn Auf advising him and talking confidentially with him. So Abdurrahman ibn Auf was discussing confidentially with, I suppose it's referring to Uthman. Not one person of judgment who sat alone with him saw any equal to Uthman. So he's saying that people did not consider anybody to be a more likely candidate than Uthman. When Abdurrahman sat to pledge allegiance, he praised Allah and said during his speech, I saw that people refuse anybody but Uthman. Ibn Asakir, the historian, narrated it from Al-Miswar ibn Makhrama. So this was narrated by Al-Miswar, and then in another riwayah, it was said that now Ali, I have reached, so this is Abdurrahman ibn Auf talking, Ali, I have researched among people, and I don't see them regarding anyone as equal to Uthman. Therefore, do not make a way against yourself. So Abdurrahman is telling Ali that look, the people really want Uthman to be Khalifa. Okay, so Ali, don't do anything that would bring harm to your own reputation. Why is he saying this? Because when the Prophet ﷺ passed away, Ali felt that he was the most likely candidate for Khalifa. This was how he felt. And so a lot of people, Sa'ad ibn Ubadah felt that the Khilafah should come from the Ansar. But when people got together and Umar ibn al-Khattab grabbed Abu Bakr's hand and raised Abu Bakr's hand, a lot of people who were making claims kind of backed off because they were like, oh, this is Abu Bakr. So there were some people that still did not accept it, and Ali ibn Abi Talib did not accept it for about 6 months. And after 6 months, he accepted the Khilafah of Abu Bakr. So there was that period where Ali did not accept the Khilafah. So now Abdurrahman ibn Auf is telling Ali that, look, you are among the people that have been chosen by Umar to become the Khalifa, but I need to tell you that the majority of people now accept Uthman as the most likely candidate. So don't say or do anything. And what he's saying is, look, don't present yourself as the better candidate, and raise that issue again that was raised after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, where Ali did not accept Abu Bakr for 6 months. So Abdurrahman says to Ali, do not make a way against yourself. Abdurrahman took the hand of Uthman and said, we pledge allegiance to you according to the sunnah of Allah, the sunnah of his messenger ﷺ, and the sunnah of the 2 Khalifas after him. Abdurrahman pledged allegiance to Uthman, and the Muhajirun and the Ansar pledged allegiance to him. So everybody, including Ali, pledges allegiance to Uthman. Ibn Sa'd narrated that Anas ibn Malik said that Umar sent for Abu Talha al-Ansari. This is not Talha ibn Ubaidullah, this is Abu Talha, he's a different person. Umar sent for Abu Talha al-Ansari an hour before Umar passed away and said, you be among 50 of the Ansar along with this group, the companions of the council, because they, as I believe, will gather in a house. Stand at that door with your companions. Do not allow anyone to enter, and do not leave them to allow a 3rd day to pass without their appointing one of themselves to the command. So Umar put together 50 people, and these were the 50 people that were to choose among themselves who the Khalifa is going to be. And Umar said that, no one should be allowed to enter the house after you 50 people have entered the house, and you have to come up with a decision in 3 days. You have to come up with, pick somebody in 3 days. This is in the Musnad of Ahmad that Abu Wa'il said, I said to Abdurrahman ibn Auf, how could you have sworn allegiance to Uthman? So a man called Abu Wa'il says to Abdurrahman ibn Auf, how could you have sworn allegiance to Uthman and neglected Ali? And so Abdurrahman said, where was my wrong action? I started with Ali and I said to Ali, should I swear allegiance to you according to the book of Allah and the sunnah of his messenger and the conduct of Abu Bakr and Umar? And Ali replied, in what I am able to do. So Ali said that I will do what I can do. Like kind of not acting in a way that he was very hasty for power. He says, I'll swear allegiance to me and I'll do what I'm able to do. And then Abdurrahman ibn Auf said the same thing to Uthman. Should I swear allegiance to you according to the book of Allah, the sunnah of his messenger, and the conduct of Abu Bakr and Umar? And he says, I later offered the same to Uthman, and Uthman replied, yes. Uthman said that I am capable of carrying out my responsibility according to the book of Allah, the sunnah of the Prophet, and according to the way of Abu Bakr and Umar. So Uthman showed less hesitation, more confidence. So then Abdurrahman then went with Uthman. It has been related that Abdurrahman ibn Auf is kind of like somebody who is the tiebreaker, right? He's the one who's kind of conducting this interview process, speaking to different people. And it came down to 3 people that the Khalifa would be chosen among. It would be Uthman or Ali or Zubayr. Okay, Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, who is also from the 10 Ashrat al-Mubashirun. It has been related that Abdurrahman said to Uthman in private, so he takes Uthman into a corner and now he speaks to him while nobody else is listening. He said to Uthman, if I don't pledge my allegiance, so this is the bay'ah that the people give to the ruler, that look, we will obey you as long as you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's a pledge of allegiance, not like the pledge of allegiance we have here. This is the Islamic pledge of allegiance. If I don't pledge allegiance to you, Abdurrahman said to Uthman, if I don't pledge allegiance to you, whom would you point out to me? Meaning, who do you think would be better than you or would be your replacement if I don't pledge my allegiance to you? And Uthman said, Ali. So Uthman is saying that if in case I don't become the Khalifa, then in my opinion, the best candidate for the job is Ali. Abdurrahman then went to Ali and said, if I don't pledge allegiance to you, whom would you point out to me? And Ali said, Uthman. Then Abdurrahman ibn Auf went to Zubayr ibn al-Awwam radiallahu anh. He was the 3rd candidate, and he said, if I don't pledge my allegiance to you, whom would you point out to me? And Zubayr said, Ali or Uthman. So Uthman said, if not me, then definitely Ali is the best man for the job. Ali said, if not me, definitely Uthman is the best man for the job. But when Zubayr was asked, he said Ali or Uthman. He said, either of them are better than I am. If I don't get it, then these are the most, not better than I am, but if I don't get it, then these are the most suitable candidates for being the Khalifa of Rasulullah, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Then Uthman called for Sa'd. This is Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, not Uthman. Abdurrahman ibn Auf called for Sa'd and he said, whom would you indicate to me? Because as for me and you, we don't want it. So it was known between Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas and Abdurrahman ibn Auf that they do not want the Khilafah. So they're just there to vote for anybody but themselves. So Abdurrahman says to Sa'd, whom would you indicate to me? Because as for me and you, we don't want it. And then Sa'd said, Uthman. Then Abdurrahman sought the counsel of all the notables and saw that most of them were inclined to Uthman. So Uthman says Ali, Ali says Uthman, Zubayr says Ali or Uthman, and Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas says Uthman. And the other people that Abdurrahman ibn Auf, interviews or asks, takes counsel from, the more people said Uthman than anyone else. So the majority voted for Uthman. So this is another method that is acceptable in Islam of choosing somebody from a pool of candidates, right? I'm not going to use the word democracy because people get upset, but you get the idea, okay? So we have different ways. Ibn Sa'd and Al-Hakim narrated that Ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, said, when Uthman was pledged allegiance, we have charged with command. Ibn Mas'ud said about Uthman, we have charged with command the best of those remaining, and we have not been negligent. So Ibn Mas'ud said that he was happy with the process and Uthman, and he said that Uthman is the best of those from remaining. So in his opinion, Uthman was better for this job than Ali and Zubayr and whoever else. In this year of his Khilafah, Rai is a city in Iran. Imam Ghazali was from there. Rai was open to Islam, and it had been open previously and lost. So Muslims had conquered Rai, and then the Persians made a counterattack, and Muslims lost Rai. And so in the Khilafah of Uthman, Rai was taken again, and this time it was taken for good. In that year, many nosebleeds occurred among people. So for some reason, a lot of people sometimes when there's a change in elevation, right, altitude, or it causes nosebleed, air pressure, a lot of things, humidity or what have you, it can cause like a nosebleed when people are traveling or when there's a change in weather. So As-Suyuti says that in that year, a lot of people had nosebleeds I suppose in Medina. Uthman was afflicted by nosebleeds to such an extent that he stayed away from the Hajj. The Khalifa leads the people in Hajj, the same way he leads people in prayer. So in our religion, the Khalifa is not just a political potentate, the Khalifa is also a religious leader. So the Khalifa gives the fatwa, the Khalifa leads people in prayer, the Khalifa gives the khutbatul Jum'ah, and the Khalifa also leads people in Hajj. And the Khalifa may also lead, if he is fit and young and he's is able to fight, the Khalifa can also lead the people in jihad. So the Khalifa is all of these things. He's not just a guy who just gives orders and just sits in his chair. He has a lot of religious responsibilities, but because of Uthman's condition, because he also had this issue of these nosebleeds, he stayed away from the Hajj and deputed someone else to take his place. So Uthman picked somebody else to lead the Muslims in Hajj. In that year, many Byzantine fortresses were taken. The Byzantine Empire is basically modern-day Turkey and Greece. Anatolia, it's called Asia Minor. It was a Christian. It was Christendom, and many Byzantine fortresses were taken. So basically, the part of the Byzantine Empire that extended into Armenia and Syria, those parts were taken by the Muslims. The Byzantine Empire proper was conquered by Muhammad Fateh. As you know, he fired cannons into the walls, and he renamed Byzantium or Constantinople into Istanbul and all that. But parts of the Byzantine Empire were taken by the Muslims in the Khilafah of Uthman, although not all of it. In that region that was formerly the Byzantine, where the fortresses were in it, Uthman appointed Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas as governor of Kufa and removed Al-Mughira. So Al-Mughira was the wali of Kufa. So we're done with Byzantine, now we're talking about Iraq. And so Uthman removed this man, Mughira, and put Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas as the wali, as the governor of Kufa. In the year 25 Anno Hijri, Uthman removed Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas from Kufa and appointed Al-Walid ibn Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayth. So Uthman now removed Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, who's one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. Rasul said Sa'd was fighting in jihad with the Prophet ﷺ, and he was an excellent archer. So Rasul ﷺ said to him, "Shoot your arrow, Sa'd, may my father and mother be sacrificed for you." And the Prophet never said that to anybody, ever, before or after that. And Sa'd said that he was very proud that Rasul ﷺ had said that about him. So Uthman removes a man called Mughira from the governorship of Kufa, and he appoints Sa'd. And then he removes Sa'd from Kufa and appoints Al-Walid ibn Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayth, who was a companion, but now this is where the problems began. He was also a brother of Uthman on his mother's side. So people are like, okay, he put a relative and what have you. And this was the first thing for which Uthman was disliked, because he appointed his relatives to posts of authority. Now, you can appoint your relative to a post of authority if your relative is capable enough. There's nothing wrong or prohibiting you from doing that. But because Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas was removed, and this other person was put in his place, and he is a relative of Iman, now the tongues are now wagging. It has been told as a tale. So As-Suyuti is not sure of the authenticity of this, but we know that this was, regardless of what I'm about to tell you, the fact that this man was appointed, now dislike is beginning to spread against Uthman. Why was this person appointed? Why was Saad removed? People are talking, and now people are getting angry. It has been told as a tale that this man Al-Walid began drinking. So he was, some people say, or if it's weak, da'if, that's what Suyuti is alluding to. Al-Walid led people in prayer for the Fajr prayer, and he prayed 4 rak'ah. So people said, hey man, what are you doing? Salatul Fajr is just 2 rak'ah. And he led the Fajr prayer while he was drunk, and then he turned to the people and he said, should I do more? So people said, why did you pray 4? It's Fajr. And he said, oh, you want me to pray 5 or 6? And they said that he did this while he was drinking. So people are now angry with Uthman because Uthman has put this person in power, and now this person is not, if this story is authentic, he's not doing his job in the way that clearly he's not at the level of the person who was removed, that was Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Did Uthman know this? Of course he didn't. In the year 26, Uthman enlarged and extended Masjid al-Nabawi. Uthman enlarged and extended Masjid al-Haram. So the Kaaba and the Mataf and the region around the Kaaba was made bigger. More and more people are coming to Islam. You've got the Byzantine, you've got Persians, you've got many more people that are coming for Umrah and Hajj. So Uthman extends and enlarges Masjid al-Haram, and he bought sites adjoining it. So he basically buys land around the Haram so he can expand the Haram for the enlargement. In the same year, Sabur, and this is the Arab pronunciation of a city which is probably, he calls it Shapur, it's a city in Iran, that was conquered. So another conquest was made in the eastern direction in the Khilafah of Uthman. In the year 27, Muawiyah radiallahu anhu went on a military expedition to Cyprus, taking the Muslim armies by sea. Muawiyah was a big supporter of Muslims having a navy, because Muawiyah wanted to expand this way, which means that you have to take ships into the Mediterranean, and this is something that he had, really pushed Umar for, and Umar had declined his request, and we will read that inshallah next week. But Muawiyah really wanted to expand, by sea. So Muawiyah went on a military expedition to Cyprus, taking armies by sea. So in the time of Uthman, Muawiyah was able to do that. Ubadah ibn as-Samit was with them, and the wife of Ubadah, Haram bint Milhan al-Ansariya of the Ansar, she also joined the jihad, and she had asked Rasulullah for her to pray for her. So when Haram was in the campaign, she was on a riding animal. She fell from that animal and died there as a shaheed. So this tells you that when you are going on an expedition with the Muslim army and you die, even if you don't die fighting, you die because of friendly fire, you die because of some accident, anything that happens, you are counted as a shaheed. You don't have to be somebody who dies, like an arrow from the enemy hits you and then you die. No, if you are in the army and you've set out from your house and you meet death along the way, you are a shaheed, regardless of how you die. So this woman, radiallahu anha, she falls off the horse, and that's what the cause of her death was, but she dies as a shaheed. And Rasulullah had foretold this army for her that you will go as a mujahida with this army, and then that's where she would become shaheed. The Prophet ﷺ had supplicated for her that she should be of them. She was buried in Cyprus. So on the island of Cyprus, which is off Greece, this is where this Sahabiya was buried. In that same year, Ar-Rajan is a city in Iran, and Darabjirt, I have no idea where that was, I looked it up, I couldn't find it, were open. So you have 2 more cities that were conquered in the time of Uthman. Uthman removed Amr ibn al-As from Egypt. So Amr ibn al-As was the wali of Egypt, the way Saad was the wali of Kufa. Amr ibn al-As was the wali of Egypt. Uthman removed him and appointed Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Sarh over him, who led an expedition against North Africa. So this new wali of Egypt was more, expansionist. So he uses Egypt as a way to spring forward into the Maghrib and to take Islam further into Africa. So Abdullah ibn Sa'd, who led an expedition against Northern Africa and opened it to Islam. So this person takes Islam into Libya, and Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and all of that region, both on the plains and in the mountains. So in the mountainous region of North Africa, he takes Islam over there as well. And every man in the army received 1,000 dinars. So every person in that, so the war booty was so much that everyone in the Muslim army got 1,000 pieces of gold. And it has been said that every person in the army received 3,000 dinar. And then through North Africa, Andalusia was opened in the same year. So parts of Andalusia, Muslims entered Andalusia. That the proper conquest of all of Andalusia would come later, but it was in the time of Uthman that parts of Spain and Portugal would be open to Islam. So all of this happened in the Khilafah of Uthman. The empire is expanding into the Byzantine and Persia and North Africa and even Europe, but people are unhappy with Uthman because, because they had a reason to be unhappy. Okay, we're going to pause here and continue next week on the life of Uthman radiyallahu anhu. Jazakumullahu khair. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala rasulihil kareem wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.